our panelists who will be helping us facilitate the further discussion, helps to ensure the integrity of the whole sustainability communications to their various stakeholders. And through these programs, their community, their corporation mobilizes in these communities their most valued resources. So he's none other than Miguel Mercado, Vice President for Corporate Communications at SM Investments Corporation.
I'd like to react to things that they said. I'd like to react first to the last point that Mr. Ludwig said about creating awareness for the environment, for sustainability. In fact, that echoes very well what we have learned. In SM, we have been doing our sustainability programs for lots and lots of years. And from what we know that it will take a greater effort than just ourselves to make it happen, which is exactly what Mr. Ludwig said. But we also know that sometimes when we talk sustainability, it's such a big word that some people get intimidated by it, especially in the era that we have communication that's to 8 seconds. I mean, we need to get people's attention within 8 seconds. And sometimes when we talk about sustainability, it's too big. Or when they talk about environmental concerns and changes, it's too scary. So what we've done is to adapt to this kind of situation. And we tried, just like Mr. Ludwig said, we tried to adapt the communications in a way that translates our sustainability programs in bite-sized information. We call it the SM Green Movement. And within the SM Green Movement, we have 3 pillars, namely the green planet, green living, and green culture. But I'd like to also put focus on 2 things we've done. Within Green Planet, we have 3 programs, which is water, waste, and energy management. But just also to echo what Mr. Ludwig had said, in terms of water management, I'm glad that he mentioned the rainwater systems, because we have implemented our own rainwater catchments already in at least 20 of our malls. And in fact, the impact that has with our communities is quite felt, because aside from capturing, at least in one mall, we capture about enough water to fill up 17 Olympic-sized pools. And that has helped the flooding. More than that, it has also helped us in recycling the water, so that about 35% of all the water within our malls are recycled. Plus, we get to use it within our malls and within the community for cleaning, for watering plants and all. And these are the kinds of things that we have put within our system also. And we made it simple enough. I think also from what Mr. Glenn has said earlier, when he was looking at tracking and looking at the impact, we have that information too, and we use it to help our communities. In fact, in one of our malls in SM Marikina, it is a place where there is some flooding that happens in big typhoons. So with that in mind, what we did was to build the mall in stilts. So as it is in stilts, it is higher. In fact, the parking lot, the first level of the parking lot, is higher than the highest flooding levels. We did that so that business can continue during floods, but also so that we can protect our tenants and we can protect our community within. So when there's a flood happens, they can and they have gone to our malls to seek refuge from this. So water catchment, disaster resilience are among the things that we're glad that we are working in parallel with what Mr. Ludwig and Mr. Glenn has said.
How do you communicate to your stakeholders, your employees and the people in the communities in which SM operates? Because as we had the earlier discussion, you mentioned that sometimes it feels very detached from the everyday experiences of people. And at the same time, to them, it just seems like, yeah, we're already doing that. The Diario Bote and the whole kanin baboy that everyday people do, to be able to recycle and reuse seeming waste, and even in terms of the kind of food that prepared. If you think of sisig, that's actually the products, the parts of the pig that people normally don't eat, but the Filipinos have innovated and turned it into a delicacy. So your communication and education programs for the people in your communities?
I think, first of all, it starts out with us trying to learn what our consumers, our partners, know about and how they feel about it. And what we've known, as said earlier, is that sometimes sustainability is just so big and intimidating. But then when you break it down, you realize that as Filipinos, we've already been doing sustainable practices. Recycling. If we go to a refrigerator, we'll see that maybe it's old water bottles, PET bottles that we bought, that we use now for our water. We also recycle food. We recycle our bottles and all of that through Jaryo Bote. That has been there. And what we're trying to do is to also communicate in this way. We need to be part of sustainable programs, but we also need to know that we can do it, and we have to do it, and we have to do it as a whole. Now, within SM, within our employers and within our partners, we're also instituting some programs like the Sustainability School. So we have an in-house sustainability school for our 135,000 or so employees. And currently, we've done it also in modules where you can take it online and you can take the courses in your own pace. So far, we've had about 30,000 of our employees take it. So it's good steps, little steps to make sustainability reachable, doable, and shareable.
I'd like to also know how much effort has SM gone into assuring the sustainability of its agriculture products.
Part of one of the initiatives that we're doing is called Green Finds. And Green Finds is actually a program where we'll work, first of all, it comes from a learning that some of our consumers are saying, how come when I want sustainable products, it's either hard to find or expensive? So we started a Green Finds program where we work with our suppliers and start to journey with them on sustainability. So we try to source them locally, we try to look for sustainable products, and with that journey, we create places where consumers can find it. In fact, we have this Green Finds, so wherever you go in the mall, and it has just started, you can see the mark of Green Finds. And it's basically us putting in the forefront for our consumers the choices, the green choices that they can do, but also journeying with our suppliers, including our farmers, for sustainable practices. We also have a startup marketplace where we work with starting up entrepreneurs, including farmers, where they can get access to our market and begin their own journey. So those are among the things that we are doing.